Welcome to the off-grid property and welcome back to this series. This is probably video 4, I think, of the series, and we're going to be tackling the roof today of the off-grid cabin. So we're going to be working on the ridge beam, getting that in place, and then all the rafters, which will tie into that part of the roof. God has blessed us with very little rain over the last 2 weeks, which was the last time I was here, and but we have rain coming up in the forecast, so I've got to get this place at least covered and hopefully dried in today or tomorrow. So got a lot of work to do today. It's gonna be a good day. Thanks for joining us. All right, so here's what we're looking at. If we have a 4-foot rise from the middle, an 8-foot run to the middle of the cabin, that gives us 8.9 feet as our actual rafter, and then I want a 1-foot overhang, so we have 10-foot boards, so we're pretty much spot on to have a 1-foot overhang if we do it with a 4-foot rise. So that's what we're gonna go for. So looking up at the middle of the cabin, it's gonna be 4 feet up from here, then about 9 feet to there with a foot overhang.
My bad.
Take a look.
Never make it in Hollywood.
This will sit just like this on the side. The board's gonna fit right down in here. It should be just about flush with the outside. One down. On the other side. There, we got our middle beam somewhat in place. Using up our scraps, getting it all the way over here. So our beam should sit right in the middle of that little pocket that we made. Well, we've been blessed to not have much rain at all in the 2 weeks since we did the walls. Look at this. There was a dirt dauber nest in there, and I just whacked it out, and look, there's all of these spiders. There's like 15 or 20 of them, and then the larva's in there. That's how quickly things will settle in here in the woods. So I'm glad we're gonna get this roof on and get it all dried in here in the next 2 days. Keep all the creepy crawlies out. So what I'm doing right now is I'm marking 16" on center, and I'm gonna have to do this on both sides of the board. And this will allow us to, I'm gonna use this spare piece of 2x4, and it'll allow me to go ahead and mark everything so that I'm not having to do that when I'm up high, 12 feet up for the ridge beam. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark it all down here on both sides with both boards, because we have 2 boards to get the full span. And then this will save us from doing it in an awkward position when we're way up high. So we're gonna mark these. That's already done. And what I'll do, we can just set this right on top of it.
Flip it over.
It doesn't matter, we're gonna have to do both sides. We're gonna have to do them both sides that way. Sure, we can flip it over. Is it in line with yours in there?
Yep.
So, go ahead and mark these. I don't have to measure it anymore because we got the boards all lined up. It says working smarter, not harder, as they say. I knew today was going to be like this. I knew it was going to be a ton of measuring and felt like you're not doing much progress, but once we get these boards cut, then should be able to throw these up in an hour, I would think. I'm gonna let Ben put his in first. Yep. Now your end should go in and it should overhang by a few inches.
I'm perfectly lined up on my end.
Okay.
Are we good?
No.
Push it down a little bit. Sorry, screwed down, Justin.
How deep in it are you? Barely in it?
I can put about my whole middle finger in there, except for the bottom part of my knuckle.
I don't think. There you go.
Hold it right there.
Yep.
You're gonna hold the wire, or you got? You should look at board off.
At the top and hold it. Yeah, it's gonna fall. So lift up. There you go. Yeah, give me this. There you go. Use 2 hands. Yeah. Okay. That one's good. I think this one's just up a hair. Pretty good. All right, we have our angle cut at the top for our roof rafters. Then over here we have a bird's mouth. We only wasted one board getting the angle right, but I think we're good to go as our template. This will give me plenty of space to shoot into. It hugs it nice and snug, but it doesn't push against the ridge beam too much. So now the plan is to make 38 more of these. So we're just going to start marking and ripping and cutting, and then we'll start putting it up. We are going to bring all of the 2x6s in here. We're going to cut them all in here, and I'm going to have Ben cutting and Lane helping him marking and cutting. I'm going to be marking 16 inches on center on this wall and the far wall, and we should be getting these up here in a little while. It took us about 3 hours to get to this point, just to get the ridge beam in place and our template made. So ready to start seeing some progress. Hey everyone, Justin from the future here, and as I'm editing this video, a lot of things come to mind. The first and foremost is that this took so much longer than I thought it was going to. It wasn't necessarily hard. It involved a fair amount of math and a lot of repetition and precision, but it took just a lot of time and a lot of effort, and it was about 100 degrees this day, pretty brutal. You can see me here. I am marking the 16-inch on center with a scrap piece of wood as the other guys are working behind the scenes. So we tried to stay efficient. We tried to put one foot in front of the other and move on. Way harder than I thought, a lot more time, but in the end, I think you'll see that we are pleased with the results. First pair of roof rafters is done, in place. So 18 more pairs to go. So I was originally going to have 3 boards that make up the ridge beam, but I decided to fork up the extra money to have some longer 2x6s for the ridge beam. I definitely think that was the better choice. It just helps it to be much more stable and especially with 3 people moving around and working, it got a little complicated. But I just want to give a quick shout out and say thank you so much to Ben and his son Lane for coming out, true brothers in Christ, and we all need help from time to time, and so grateful that they were able to sweat it out with me in the middle of the woods in West Tennessee and make this project happen. All right, we are getting close to the final stretch, maybe. We've got about a third of them hung up, but most of them are cut. And so just making sure our measurements are not getting too out of wonk. So we'll see how much longer it takes. It's 6:37. Got about an hour left of daylight maybe. We'll see. It's coming down?
Yeah, it's moving down, it's shifting down a little bit.
Alright.
Hold on, let me get out of the shot.
I think we're good. Ben trying to scare me. Everything's falling in! I'll measure the level here in a second. We'll see. I didn't show it in the video, but I put some metal plates to attach the 2 ridge beams together, and it came down just a hair, but we were able to make up that difference with these boards and with the ridge cap, so it is completely structurally sound, as you'll see in future videos, and turned out really well. Very pleased. I will say that I love the pitch for the roof. It's subtle, but it's not too extreme. Looks really cool. Excited to get this thing connected and up and running. That's a wrap for today's project. We did it. We got the rafters in place and the ridge beam in place. This took 3 of us at least half a day. So a lot of work. Looking forward to getting this thing dried in. We got rain coming up this week, so a lot of work to do. Thanks for watching today's video. We'll see you on the next one.